All right, so today we are going to be doing the 15th page of the packet. Remember, you do have to count out each page. The numbers on the bottom are out of order. So it is the 15th page, even though, it says 14 down here. And it's about something called sex-linked traits, or X-linked. And before we go over these questions, we need to know a little bit about what that means. So the X-linked trait or sex-linked trait is referring to any trait whose genes are located on the sex chromosomes. So we all know already that you guys have 46 chromosomes inside each one of your cells, which is 23 pairs of chromosomes. And out of those 23 pairs of chromosomes, we have 22 that we call autosomes, which are the ones that we've been dealing with through this whole unit so far. And then you have one pair that are called sex chromosomes. And your one pair of sex chromosomes determines your sex. So we represent these chromosomes as an X and a Y because if you look at them, they are kind of shaped like that. And the X chromosome is actually way bigger than the Y chromosome, and then therefore has a lot more genes on it. So females have 2 copies of the X chromosomes, while males have an X and a Y. So XX is females, XY is males. So every single time you do a Punnett square that's dealing with sex chromosomes, you know there's going to be at least one male and one female, right? There's always a mom and a dad, a male and a female. And if you do that just how it is, you'll see when you fill in that square that there's actually always a 50% chance of having a male versus a female child. So 50% chance of having a male and 50% chance of having a female. Right? XX is female, XX female, XY, XY, those two are both male. So it's always a 50-50 chance. Every single time 2 parents have a child, it is a 50-50 chance that it's a male versus a female. Now, sometimes there are traits that are determined by the genes on these chromosomes. And like I said before, the X chromosome is actually way bigger than the Y and has a lot more genes on it. So usually when we deal with these traits, they're ones that are on the X chromosome. And since females are XX, they have 2 of that same chromosome. So they actually have 2 of every gene, right? 2 alleles for every gene, just like we've been doing with all of our regular traits. The males, however, usually only actually get 1 of those genes. They don't have the opportunity to have that second gene. So for example, there's a trait for color blindness, and it's an X-linked gene. So there's a gene on the X chromosome that deals with color blindness. So a female might have, say, an X with a dominant gene, which would mean that they see color fine, and they have an X with a recessive allele. So recessive means colorblind. In this case, though, the female has that big A. The big A is dominant. It overpowers the little a. And say we cross that with a male who is also can see color fine, has that big A. But the Y doesn't have one. So they actually only have 1 allele for this trait. And what happens with that is that you get here a female that has 2 capital A's. You have a male that has a capital A. You have, again, a female who has a capital A and a lowercase a, and then a male that only has a little a. So this male that only has little a doesn't have the opportunity for that second allele to overpower it. So it has the recessive allele, so that means it has the recessive trait. So that male would actually be colorblind. So on this page here, We have all sorts of examples of these X-linked traits. Some sex-linked traits are on the Y chromosome, but we deal a lot more with them on the X chromosome because it's just bigger. So here's an example. In fruit flies, eye color is a sex-linked trait. Red, X with a capital R, is dominant to white, X with a lowercase r. So what are the sexes and eye colors of flies with the following genotypes? So you have XX would be female, because you need to know the sexes, right? That's what it's asking. What are the sexes and eye colors? So this female has a capital R and a lowercase r. The capital is dominant to the lowercase, so this female would have red eyes. Here we have an XY, so that would be male. And the male, there's no option, right? It's whatever they have on their X chromosome. So in this case, that's a big R, and again, that would be red. Let's do this one. XX is female. The eye color, big R, big R. Big R is red. And then D is actually going to be your bell ringer today. So D is your bell ringer. And then number 2, you're going to do what are the genotypes of these flies. So we're just doing what we did here, but backwards. You have a white-eyed male. Males have to be XY. And if it's white-eyed, it would have the little r. And I'll let you guys do those 3. Then you have to do some Punnett squares with it, some practice. So show the cross of a white-eyed female with a red-eyed male. So I'll set up the Punnett square for you and then have you guys do the rest. So it's asking you to show the cross, and then you should always still also summarize what their children would be, right? Would they be males or females with red eyes or white eyes? And then you're going to do another cross between a pure red-eyed female. Pure means both are the same, so X big R, and a white-eyed male. I'm going to let you guys set that one up on your own, and then just asking questions about their children. Same with number 5. It says show the cross of a red-eyed female, heterozygous, so that means a big R and a little r, and a red-eyed male. And again, asking questions about the children. You have to do the Punnett squares for these ones, all right? A lot of you were skipping the Punnett squares the other day, and it was really messing up some of your answers. So that's part of the process. And I will be live today at 12 to answer any questions that you have.